rejected and ridiculed. The Grand Assembly of the Galactic Federation hovered like a jewel in the void, its spires stretching into artificial gravity wells, orbiting the neutral planet of Uran 6. Within its colossal chamber, thousands of species filled tiered seats, humming in languages evolved over eons. Earth's delegation stood small and out of place. Dr. Aisha Monroe, humanity's ambassador, inhaled slowly and stepped forward, her voice unwavering. Humanity seeks entry into the Federation, not as beggars, but as equals. In the last 2 centuries, we've achieved faster-than-light travel, terraformed Mars, and developed artificial intelligence with ethical reasoning. We've solved diseases, ended internal wars, and laughter echoed across the chamber. A tall, serpentine Yovari representative, the Speaker of the Council, raised a tendril. Primitive species often mistake ambition for qualification, he said, his voice translated through neural implants. You burn your own skies. Your history is soaked in violence. And you think building engines makes you ready for the stars. Monroe's jaw tightened. We learn from our past. It's why we've progressed. Another delegate, a Threx official whose kind hadn't fought a war in 10,000 years, sneered. Humanity is chaos incarnate. You age too fast, evolve too slowly, and place emotion over logic. That is not strength. That is instability. There is no vote, no ceremony, just dismissal. Monroe turned and walked out in silence. Behind her, the human delegation followed, their faces pale with rage and humiliation. Outside, cameras transmitted the outcome back to Earth. Across the globe, the reaction was immediate. Anger, outrage, unity. For the first time in history, every human nation condemned the Federation's arrogance. Even rival superpowers stood side by side. The insult didn't shatter humanity's spirit, it ignited it. In an underground bunker in northern Canada, the World Science Accord held an emergency summit. Generals, engineers, and visionaries gathered in a room lit by soft blue light. Monroe stood before them, fire in her voice now. They said we are too primitive. Then let's become their nightmare. From that meeting, the Vanguard Initiative was born. Funded in secret, operated off-world, and unbound by public oversight, it was a think tank and forge rolled into one, dedicated to pushing humanity's technological boundaries beyond anything seen before. Earth went silent after that. No transmissions, no trade, no diplomacy. To the Federation, it seemed the humans had accepted their place. But deep beneath the surface of Antarctica, the initiative's engines roared to life. Massive AI cores were born in darkness. Alien technology was dissected and reassembled into something new, something human. Shipyards bloomed within hollowed asteroids. Quantum networks connected hidden outposts from Europa to Eridani. Humanity had stopped asking for a seat at the table. Now, they were building one of their own, faster, sharper, and deadlier than anything the galaxy had ever seen. And when they returned, it wouldn't be with words. Humanity accelerated. 10 years passed. In the eyes of the Galactic Federation, Earth had vanished. No envoys, no starships, no presence in any known system. Some Federation members speculated that humanity had fractured under the weight of rejection. Others assumed they'd simply given up, too primitive to cope with galactic politics. They couldn't have been more wrong. Beneath the icy crust of Antarctica, the Vanguard Initiative pulsed with silent energy. What had started as a think tank had grown into something far more dangerous, a hidden civilization fueled by purpose and vengeance. Dozens of black site facilities now dotted the solar system, each linked by encrypted quantum relays invisible to even the most advanced Federation sensors. In one such facility, Commander Elias Voss paced the length of a massive observation deck. Below him, through reinforced glass, an experimental warship hovered, sleek, black, and alive with nanite-based armor that shimmered like oil under starlight. "How long until the Umber class is ready for deployment?" he asked. Dr. Kira Lang, lead systems engineer, didn't look up from her console. 2 weeks. Less if we push the neural integration tests. Voss nodded. Push them. Around them, humanity's future was being forged at a pace the galaxy would have deemed impossible. A decade of focused innovation had yielded results that shattered known limits. Quantum drive systems allowed near-instantaneous jumps across charted space. Adaptive AIs, illegally modeled on recovered Threx cores, learned and evolved in real time, often surpassing their creators within hours. Genetically enhanced operatives, bonded with AI companions, could command fleets with thought-speed precision. Where the Federation relied on ancient technology honed through millennia of caution, humanity advanced through iteration, risk, and relentless experimentation. On the dark side of Luna, Earth's first Dyson swarm node went online. Though small, it provided enough power to feed hundreds of advanced systems. Entire asteroid belts were converted into mobile factories. Mars became a proving ground for fleet tactics. Every advancement was hidden, shielded, or cloaked from detection. And they weren't just preparing weapons. They were studying their enemies. Over the years, covert agents infiltrated outer Federation colonies, stealing tech, data, and strategic intelligence. Some humans lived in disguise, masked by surgically implanted alien biometrics, learning how the Federation thought, governed, and, most importantly, what they feared. One fear stood out above all: unpredictability. The Federation valued order, tradition, and control. But humans thrived in the margins, improvising, adapting, surviving where others collapsed. Back in the control room, Voss watched a simulation. It showed a Federation battle fleet facing off against a smaller human force. Within minutes, the human AI adapted, flanked, and decimated the enemy with surgical strikes. It was the 50th successful simulation that week. "They think we're gone," Lang said quietly. "No," Voss replied. "They think we're beneath notice." He turned toward a massive display screen. In the center was the Federation's galactic map, untouched for centuries. Voss pointed to its core worlds. Time to remind them why they were wrong. Humanity wasn't just coming back. It was coming back smarter, faster, and deadlier than anyone ever imagined. First strike of the forgotten. The planet Dravones bustled with interstellar trade. Orbiting a resource-rich gas giant, it was the Federation's central logistics hub, untouchable, secure, and perfectly organized. Dozens of supply freighters came and went, feeding thousands of colonies. Federation citizens slept peacefully beneath its shimmering energy dome, confident in their superiority. That confidence shattered at 3:14 Galactic Standard Time. Without warning, every orbital satellite above Dravones went offline. Navigation systems collapsed. Docking protocols froze. The planet's sky, once filled with drifting cargo haulers, became a graveyard of drifting metal. In a control tower, Yovari engineers scrambled to reroute power, only to find that every emergency system had been preemptively disabled. At 3:16, the orbital defense array overloaded and exploded. No casualties, just silence, fire, and confusion. At 3:18, a transmission appeared across every holoscreen, datapad, and neural display. A black screen, a pulsing symbol, a strand of DNA entwined in fire. Then a voice. "You called us primitive." The signal vanished. Panic erupted across Dravones. Federation Counselor Varen, stationed nearby, demanded answers. The military blamed local insurgents. The Cyber Defense Corps found no trace of a breach. But deep down, they all felt it. This was no rebellion. This was something new. Far above, cloaked in a layer of quantum disruption, 3 human stealth cruisers observed the chaos. Commander Voss stood aboard the Umbrous Spear, satisfied. No casualties. Total disruption. Message delivered. Lang confirmed. Voss nodded. "Withdraw. Next target in 48 hours. Within moments, the ships vanished, leaving no trail, no radiation signature. Just a galaxy full of questions. Back in the Federation High Council, chaos reigned. "This was an attack," barked the Threx security director. "We must mobilize fleets." "Against who?" Another delegate snapped. "You have no suspects, no signals, no evidence. They left a message. Maybe the Can rebels. No, said Counselor Varen, her voice cold. This is human. That name, human, had not been spoken in the council in years. Not since Earth's quiet withdrawal. Now it echoed like a prophecy. Within a day, 3 more coordinated strikes hit distant Federation outposts, one on a weapons depot, another on a communications array, and the third on an orbital labor station where subjugated species toiled in silence. All attacks were surgical. No deaths. Just systems disabled, supplies erased, and liberation where oppression once stood. Each time, the DNA and fire symbol appeared. Each time, the same voice echoed. We remember. Then, the unexpected happened. On worlds long silenced by Federation rule, sparks of rebellion ignited. Alien species, inspired by the unseen attackers, began rising. Small uprisings, worker strikes, sabotage. The Federation had long relied on fear and stagnation to maintain control. But now, fear had shifted. It wasn't rebellion they feared anymore. It was Earth. In a secure Vanguard command center on Ganymede, Dr. Monroe watched reports pour in. She didn't smile, but there was steel in her voice as she gave the next order. Phase 2 begins. Prepare the message. The forgotten species had returned, and they had learned how to speak in a language the Federation finally understood. Power. Regret across the stars. The Galactic Federation High Council convened in full emergency session, something that hadn't happened in over 6 millennia. The chamber was no longer serene. It buzzed with panic, fear, and disbelief. They've disabled 12 major outposts in a week, roared Counselor Thrava of the Threx. Entire fleet yards are offline. Our systems compromised, completely undetectable entry and exit. No casualties, just chaos. Counselor Varen stood slowly, silencing the room. This isn't a rebellion. This is strategy, precision, humiliation. This is humanity. A hush fell. The word hung heavy in the air. The speaker, a Yovari elder who had once laughed at Earth's ambassador, now trembled. They were nothing. Stone Age creatures, barely capable of stable planetary peace. Not anymore, Varen said grimly. As if summoned by the weight of their words, the chamber lights dimmed. Static buzzed, then cleared into a hologram. A global override across every council display. No one authorized the feed. No one could stop it. Dr. Aisha Monroe appeared, dressed in the sleek black uniform of the Vanguard Initiative, her voice calm and resolute. 10 years ago, you told us we were too primitive for your Federation. You dismissed us, laughed at us. That was your mistake. She paused as data flickered behind her. Images of cloaked ships, AI war simulations, liberated colonies, and silenced defense grids. We asked for a seat. You denied it. So we built our own table. Monroe's image vanished, replaced by a live feed. Earth's flagship, the Resolute, dawn warping into orbit above the Council's capital world, its hull shimmering with exotic alloys. It was massive, sleeker, and more advanced than anything in the Federation Navy. It hadn't just appeared. It had been there, cloaked and watching for days. Defense systems scrambled to target it. Nothing locked on. The Federation's greatest weapons had been disabled before the ship even revealed itself. Then the sky darkened. One by one, 20 more human ships decloaked in strategic positions across the system. Small, fast, lethal. Not a single Federation fleet could respond. A new transmission began. This time, it was Elias Voss. You've ruled with arrogance, with stagnation, with fear. Humanity doesn't seek revenge. We seek balance. A galaxy where advancement isn't held hostage by ancient power. Voss's tone sharpened. You can accept our terms. Earth joins the Federation as an equal. The Council is restructured. The oppressed are freed. Or we dismantle the system you cling to. Brick by brick. Silence. Then, slowly, the Yovari speaker stood and bowed his head. We regret our misjudgment. Humanity had no need for war. Not anymore. It had mastered the battlefield, rewritten the rules, and forced the galaxy to listen. As Monroe later told the new Federation Council, we were never too primitive. You were just too blind. And so began a new era, not of conquest, but of transformation. Not because the galaxy welcomed humanity, but because it no longer had a choice.